Hello, Jason Rowan. It's time for our fourth lesson, and we're going to be starting a new art project together. Before we start making, we're going to read The Scarecrows Dance Together by Jane Yolen. An autumn eve, the moon was high, as yellow as a black cat's eye, and out in the field, still forlorn, the scarecrow stood and watched the corn. Nighttime came, the long bell tolled, as down the rows a wild wind rolled, and the wind blew high and the wind blew low. It blew the clothes off the old scarecrow. His feet of straw began to prance, his knees of straw to bend and dance, and his arms of straw were flung about. His mouth began a windy shout. He shrugged his shoulders, and a grin, just like a cornrow, and as thin, broke out along his painted face, and he gave a leap and left his place. He jogged a row and trotted back along the cornfield's dirt-piled track, and while high above his painted head the crazed and cawing black crows fled. He danced past Tractor in the field, still waiting to bring in the yield, past cows who lay down in the grass and watched him as he silent passed. He danced by a barn as red as blood and two pigs sleeping in the mud. He pirouetted on the lane, and then into the yard he came. Already he saw a yellow light, the family tucking in tonight. He pressed his nose against the glass, his straw feet into crinkled grass, and watched a child on bended knees begin a prayer by saying, please. Please bless our pigs and bless our barn and keep our chickens safe from harm, and bless our cats and bless our cows, bless our tractor and our plows, and bless tonight our old scarecrow who guards the fields and each corn row, so that tomorrow when we reap, there will be lots of corn to keep. The scarecrow heard with painted ears and wept a pail of painted tears. Then turning, danced back to his field, and right before the pole he kneeled. What prayers do scarecrows make to God, of sky and rain and wind and sod? Or do they touch on love or beauty? Do they sing of faith and duty? We'll never know, except that he, a scarecrow singularity, with one great leap, high, high and higher than any dancer could admire, slid back onto his wooden pole, which tall and straight just fit his soul. For anyone can dance, thought he, but only I can keep the fields free. Well, Rowan and Jace, I hope you enjoyed the Scarecrow's dance. And now we're going to go ahead and get started on our project. The reason why we read the Scarecrow's dance is because our next project is going to be a scarecrow. And we like to do scarecrows in the fall because the scarecrows are supposed to scare away the birds and other animals that might want to eat the corn that is ready for harvest. And harvest time happens in the fall. So Scarecrow, we know that our little scarecrow guy, he went back to the field to do his job, his purpose. So we are going to work on scarecrows today. So what you are going to need for our project today is the white sheet of paper. You're going to need a pencil, a ruler, a Sharpie marker, and some oil pastels. We are going to work on our scarecrow drawing today and next week. So next week we'll be using these supplies as well, but we also will be using some watercolor. So the example I have from Mr. Warner is a scarecrow who has a crow sitting on his arm. And you can see the scarecrow has a head that is painted in, which we will do that next time. He's got a cute little patched nose because the scarecrow is just stuffed fabric. And it's stuffed with hay or straw. And so you can see the straw coming out the sides and also out the armholes. We're going to be putting a hat on top of our scarecrow. He's got button eyes. We're going to be working on a line pattern on the outfit of the scarecrow, and we'll be painting in the background, and we'll be doing our crow out of some fun shapes. We're going to be doing that with Sharpie marker. So we'll set this aside and we're going to go ahead and get started on our drawing. So you should have a large sheet of white paper in front of you. In order to get our scarecrow in the right spot, his shirt is almost halfway on the paper, okay? So, but what we're going to do is we're going to measure it out. You're going to put your hand, you're going to spread your hand out. My hands are bigger, so I'm going to keep mine kind of close together. And I'm going to put two of them together. And at the top is where we're going to start our the shirt for our scarecrow. So I want you can kind of spread your hands out like that so you can fit it in. So I'm going to get my ruler. I'm going to place my paper, it's the bottom of my paper, I'm going to put my hands on here. And I'm going to hold down right here and I'm going to put a mark. I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to go ahead and just draw very lightly a line that's going to go across. Okay? So you should have one line that is close to halfway on your paper. And this line, we're going to erase some of it, but part of it is going to become the shirt. Okay, we are going to put in two lines just above the line that we just drew for the neck. So you're going to go ahead and I'm going to put in two lines. And we're just using our pencil for this. So you can see I've got two lines. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to write a big letter U, okay? And that U is going to touch the two lines. That's going to be the head of our scarecrow. So I'm going to go up and do a U. Okay, now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take a ruler and you're going to draw across the top of your big letter U. Okay, so see how I put a line across it? So that's that line that's going to be a hat. Now you can put in different shape hats. I'm going to make my lines come out a little farther. And I'm going to do a little wave, you can see, and kind of like a letter M on the top. And I've given my Scarecrow a cowboy hat. Now I'm thinking, see how wide this M comes from the U? So I'm thinking I might have to erase that and adjust it. We'll make the M as wide as his head. Okay, so you can do one like mine, or you can just do lines that come straight up and do another line across the bottom. So you kind of have a triangle hat. And that would be fine as well. Okay, so then on the sides, we are going to put 2 lines on the edges for the arms. So I've got my lines, the big line I put across for the shoulders, and I'm thinking you're going to put your hand, put 3 fingers, and you're going to mark that. You might want to do 4 if it still feels too close. I'm going to do 3. And that's going to show me where I'm going to put my edge of the shirt. So I'll line up my ruler and put 2 short lines in so you can see how we have that. Then we're going to draw the number 7. So if you look here, we have the edge of the shirt, which we just drew, and see how this looks like a number 7? We're going to draw that. Here it is, the edge of our shirt. We're going to draw the number 7 right in there, like that. See how we have a number 7. And this time on this side, we're going to draw a 7 backwards. So we've got the edge of our shirt. We're going to draw the number 7 backwards. Hold that to the side, the number 7 backwards, but we're going to do it. So we go across, and then we'll kind of come out wide. You should have your neck, your U-shaped head, a hat, your shirt edges with a backward 7 and a forward 7. The next line we're going to put in is the horizon line. The horizon line is where the sky meets the earth. That looks like we are seeing the field in the background. We're going to go underneath, and again, if you want to, you can take your ruler. So we're going to go underneath the arms, and I'm just going to take a ruler and go across. I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to stop when I get to the shirt, so it just looks like that. And then I'm going to continue that line on the other side. If you want to draw a real light line in between so you know you got them right, like that, I'll bring it up closer. You can just see it's really, really light. You can do that as well. We'll erase that because we don't want that to be part of our pattern necessarily. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is to put the face in. We're going to do 2 different button eyes. So we're going to do, this button has 4 holes and this button has 2 holes. When we do ours, we're going to color our buttons in different colors. We're not going to make them skin colored. So in order to put our buttons in, we're going to go ahead and put a circle in. Now that button's really small, so I'm going to give it an edge. So I've got 1 button eye, and I'm going to put 2 holes in it. That's how we would sew that button on. Would be with the holes so you can see it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 circles. The next button I'm going to make a little bit bigger, and I'm going to put a rim around mine again, and because it's bigger I'm going to put in the 4 holes. Okay, so we've got another button eye. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 circles. If I'm going too fast, pause the video and draw what you need to and then come back. The next part of our scarecrow would be the nose. And we're going to draw the nose. Do you know what shape this is? With 3 corners, it's a triangle. So we're going to put a triangle for a nose on our scarecrow. These little lines on the triangle are to show little stitches because this would be made out of a different fabric. So we're going to go ahead and put some stitches on our patched nose. The line we're going to do after that is a stitched zigzag, and we're going to do that for the mouth. I want you to notice that the mouth is wider than the nose. It's going to come out past the nose on both sides. I'm going to make mine kind of friendly, and I'm going to do the zigzag lines, and then I put in a couple other lines on top to show that it's got stitching. There's my scarecrow grin. So the next part of the drawing that we want to do is to add our bird. And the way we do a bird is by making one circle plus another circle and a triangle, and then coloring it all in. We will include another circle for the eye and another triangle for the beak. And let's do this together. So up here, I'm going to put a little bit smaller circle for the head. And you can see I made it so small that I needed to go over it again and make it just a little bit bigger. If you need to do that, that's why we're working with pencil, go ahead. The next circle we're going to make is going to be attached. That means it's going to be connected to the head. We're going to put little lines on the side to make it look like it's part of the neck of the bird. And then we will do a triangle. When we do the triangle, it's going to overlap the circle. So you can see I've got like a little mini triangle because it overlaps the circle. And this too, we're going to put some lines on the side because we're going to thicken it up and make it into the tail. So you can see we added it a little bit of thickness. Now, for our bird's face, we want to add this eye. So we're going to do a circle. This circle inside, we are going to leave white. We'll do one more circle in there. So you'll do a medium circle and then a tiny circle inside. That tiny one we will fill in. And then we're going to do the triangle for the beak. And we'll put a line down the center of it. So you can see we've got our triangle with a line down the center. The last thing we want to put on are the legs, and those are straight lines, vertical lines that stick out, and then we'll add some lines for the feet. And so our bird is looking over at our scarecrow. This has been a lot of drawing so far, but you guys are doing a great job. The last thing that we want to draw with our pencil would be a pattern on the shirt. And you can see we have lines that go vertical, that stand up and down. And then we have lines that go horizontal, that go across. we are going to put those lines in with our pencil. I would say you probably want your ruler, and you're going to go ahead and put in some horizontal lines across the shirt of your scarecrow. I'm going to put in 2 that are close to each other and then spread that out a little bit. So I've got nice wide stripes across my scarecrow shirt. Yours can look different than mine. Okay, then we're going to put some vertical lines, which means that they're going to be standing up. So I'm putting my ruler to the edge of my paper and I'm just drawing a line down. So you can see we have our vertical lines going down and our horizontal lines going across. Okay, so those are all the parts for our scarecrow that we are working. I also want us today to outline everything with our Sharpies. So you're going to remember that your Sharpie is a permanent marker. It does not come out of clothing. So you want to put the cap on the back of it, and you want to make sure that you only touch the tip of your marker to your paper. We are going to outline and go over all the lines. So you should have your scarecrow drawn and then outlined with Sharpie. You should have the horizon line. You should have your vertical lines on the interior. That should be still in pencil, but your crow and your face and your hat should all be traced with the Sharpie. And then if you want to go in and erase any extra pencil lines, you can go ahead and do that. All right. That's what it should look like. You can also put your name at the bottom. So Rowan and Jace, this is how far I would like to see your project. If you can put a picture of this up on Seesaw, that would be great. I would love to see it. Next week we'll add color and we will be doing a little bit of painting. Have a great day.